The day after we were assigned the project, the four of us all went to the scrap box. We really had no ideas in mind. So we went there, we picked up the material, we brainstormed ideas, back and forth with each other, and then we saw the fabric, which we liked because it was very attractive. So we thought that, having something that was, appealing would solve half the battle of selling the product. So we thought about different ideas of what can we do with this fabric, and we want it to be useful and relevant. So then we came up with the idea of a phone bed. So we liked the phone bed because, this would be something that was handmade from local materials. It could hold the phone, and it might even have some noise canceling capabilities. So we were super pumped about that and went home to each make our own iteration of the phone bed. So in the first week, we met back together and shared our different phone beds. We decided on a model that we liked the best, and then we were actually able to sell one of those in the first week to a college girl, which is what we thought would just sort of naturally be our customer segmentation. We decided on the price of $5. We thought that was pretty standard, and since it was a handmade item and it was appealing, that it should be an easy sell.
Our biggest change in week 2 was that Nathan actually brought home one of the designs and showed it to his mom, and she thought that she could expand on it and make it better. So we partnered with Nathan's mom, and she became the person who made all of our phone beds. This week we mostly sold to our friends and friends of friends, and they all loved the design, thought it was really cute and a really good accessory, but a lot of times one of the reasons that they bought it was because they knew us. We also expanded our customer segment this week by marketing through Facebook and Etsy. We raised our prices online when we were selling it online from 5 to 10 because we didn't want customers to think that it was a cheap product, and we thought that increasing the price would help us sell more. However, none of these were very successful. The Etsy didn't, not one person bought from the Etsy, and we only made one sale through the Facebook for $5, but instead of for $10, it's for $5.
During week 3, we brought PhoneBed to boutiques. Julia called 5 different boutiques and approached Orchid Lane in person. Verbena alone expressed interest in carrying the product. The owner, Kate, said that she would like to see a mock-up display before putting it on shelf. This included an instructional sign. We gathered for a photo shoot to create how-to-esque pictures of PhoneBed in use. Up until this point, I had only photographed the PhoneBeds as products for online sales, a more impersonal aesthetic. This shoot focused on placing them in the lives of young phone users, specifically female. After the group shoot, I designed an instructional sign. Julia found a basket, and we sent photographs of the display mock-up to Kate. She really liked it and agreed to put it on the shelf. This week, we also received 20 more phone beds in the mail, but it was before demand had picked up, so we were relatively overstocked. All in all, we focused on a different channel, bringing it to the boutique, expanding customer segmentation to the boutique shopper, people that were already out, prepared to spend money instead of the prior used method meetup scenario. We also spent the week focusing on image, a more product-driven than feedback-driven case. We continued in-person sales this week, selling a total of 5.
In the 4th week, we negotiated with Kate, the store manager from Verbena. We decided on bundling prices, so 1 phone bed for $15 and 2 for $25 because we wanted to keep the prices affordable for customers since Verbena requested a profit margin of at least 50%. We also agreed to handle any damages to products, reassuring that we would make a new one in the case that something happened to it, staying committed to our customer relationship values. However, the biggest change was in the value proposition. After collecting customer feedback, we finally realized that perhaps the phone pad wasn't satisfying the need to hold a phone, but rather a more open-ended solution to holding any object, phone, keys, or serving as a decoration. Moving forward, we want to give out freemiums and collect more customer input on the potential value proposition of the phone bed.
So reflecting back on our phone bed venture, I think the greatest lessons we learned was that we should have collected more customer input along the way. I think the nature of the assignment of almost immediately developing a product with very limited resources in such a short time frame made us more product focused rather than customer focused, which is why the majority of our iterations were focused on customer channels and segments rather than the product itself. In a way, I think we fall into groupthink. Our product looked great, and given such limited resources, I think we were proud of it, just for looking like how it did. But what we failed to do is identify a need for the product. I don't think the way in which our product was designed necessarily addressed this need, because otherwise more people would have bought them. If we could all do it over again, I think we would have asked why more often. If someone didn't want to purchase the phone bed, we should have asked them why not. In addition to asking questions, we should have observed, as in letting our friends try out the phone beds and see how they work, like for free, these freemiums, and what else they would have used them for, and collected their input, which, as Nathan mentioned earlier, is what we want to continue to do starting now.